please let me know when you're ready to speak and give me an opportunity to announce your name and the title of your speech.
Yes,
Mr.
Madam
Lane?
Contest Master, I am ready.
Okay. William Lane. The importance of being coachable. The importance of being coachable. William Lane.
I am the best public speaker in the world. I know everything there is to know about public speaking. For as long as I can remember, I wanted to become a very great professional public speaker. And I thought that if I was just confident enough, that I would eventually get there. You see, I did not have a very good time in high school. I was the only Asian kid in an all-white town. That led to feelings that I was different from everyone else, that I was somehow inferior, and it didn't help that I was constantly reminded of those differences by people coming up to me and doing this. Just about the one thing in my life that was going well was public speaking. You see, for some reason, I didn't have the same fear of speaking in public that some other people did. So whenever it's time to give a presentation from the class for a group project, I would be the one to raise my hand in the air and volunteer. And at the end, sometimes I would do pretty well, and people would start to clap, people would start to cheer. Things were looking up in my life. I was starting to gain more friends. I was starting to gain more confidence. Things were looking up in my life. And then I got to college, and that's when everything changed. The first thing I did when I got to college was enroll in a public speaking course called Rhetoric 101. I want to be a professional speaker. I want to be like my mentor and my hero, Tony Robbins. If you like what you just said, raise your hand in the air and say, I. When do people really start to live? I want to speak to millions of people around the world. That was my dream. So I took this course, and I ended up getting a B- in that class. A B-. And I remember I wasn't disappointed or sad. I was angry. How dare this professor criticize my speaking ability? At that point, I had already developed an unhealthy ego about myself. I thought that if I just was confident enough, if I just thought that I was number one, that I would become the best speaker eventually. So whenever he gave me advice, even if it was very good advice, like, hey, William, stop slouching over, you need to stand up straight, I would respond with the 4 most dangerous words in the entire English language when it comes to any kind of self-improvement. And those words are, I already know that. Hey, William, you're talking way too fast. People can barely understand you. I already know that. What are you talking about? So it's no surprise that all 4 years of college, I didn't make any progress in terms of public speaking. It wasn't for lack of trying. I volunteered to speak every time I got the chance to, but I never got anywhere. I lost every single competition. I never got elected for any offices that I ran for. It was going nowhere because I thought I was very good, but I wasn't. And it wasn't until 2 years after I graduated from college that I went to my first Toastmasters International meeting in Boston, Massachusetts. I met someone there. He was giving a speech on a topic called macroeconomics. Not something that I'm particularly interested in, but he delivered it with such passion and such clarity and such skill that I had no choice but to admit to myself, I'm not the best speaker in the world because he's better than me. I realized my whole world just came upside down. I'm at the very bottom of the mountain. I thought I was already at the top. And not only do I not already know that, I don't know anything about public speaking. But luckily, Toastmasters International has this thing called mentoring. So even if you're really bad, like I was, very bad. People are more than happy to help you out, to give you a guiding hand, as long as you're coachable, as long as you're humble enough to learn. Before this contest started, I thought that I would need to bring some kind of prop, some kind of gimmick, something to just stand out from the crowd, maybe juggle some balls in the air, something like that. And I realized that this Toastmasters International pin, this pin is the only thing I really need, because this Toastmasters International pin represents coachability. And coachability is what's responsible for turning my life around. I hope that you don't think that this has been easy, because it hasn't. It really hasn't. That's not what I'm trying to say. But I want you to think about your own life. I want you to imagine a skill or a talent, something that you're really good at. Go ahead. Imagine that skill or talent, that hobby, something you're really good at. And now, while picturing that skill in your mind, I want you to imagine, how did you get good at that skill? It's probably because you had the right mentor. Or maybe it was a coach, a parent, perhaps, your mom or your dad, maybe even your boss, someone who taught you that skill at a time in your life when you were coachable, when you were humble, and when you were ready to absorb information without letting your ego get in the way. That's why you got good at that skill. And to me, this is the coolest thing in the world. This is how you get good at anything you want in life. Don't try to do everything by yourself. Find the right mentor. And not only that, but never, ever say the words, "I already know that." Never say that ever again. And that, my friends, is the importance of being coachable. Thank you very much, Madam Contest Master.